we're gonna go ahead and call the APRN committee meeting together. We do have enough for a quorum. And we'll call this meeting to order. I did not see an on-site packet. Am I correct?
Yeah, there's no on-site
No
packet.
on-site packet. Okay. And then additions or revisions to the agenda. Are there any of that needed, Carol?
No.
Okay. Any announcements? No. Okay, and then we do approval from the March 26, 2024 meeting for APRN committee that I was not here for. I think. I chaired.
I move to approve the agenda as amended. I mean, as it is.
As it is. Second. The second. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any objections? No? Okay. So then the minutes are approved. And then, I have it here. We're gonna do the consent item agenda, the APRN programs approved for licensure. You have those, Carol.
Yeah, they're actually on page 8 in your packet. We had several this time, but they did all meet the requirements. Just a comment, you know, we have those drafts going forward where the clinical hours will be increasing. So that's going to make a little bit of difference. So that's right there. And then also the final review of 60-11-101 based on the feedback that you gave last time. That's on page 9. And then for 60-11-102, that's on page 13. And then the next one would be on page 17. That's what's in your consent item agenda.
Okay, so we'll start with the approval for licensure. Have a motion to, we'll do these each individually, correct? Or no, all together?
Yeah, you just do the consent
All to-
unless
all
you
together.
pull one of them out. Yeah.
Okay, did anyone have any discussion for the approval of the license of the programs? Questions, concerns? Okay, for final review of KR 60-11-101. Any discussion, questions? When I looked at it, I thought it looked fine. KR 60-11-02. Any questions, concerns? And then KR 60-11-103. Any questions or concerns? I didn't have anything. Done a good job. All right. I move to approve those. A motion. Motion to approve.
I move to approve the consent item agenda, which include APRN program approved for licensure, final review of KAR 60-11-101, definition of expanded role, final review of KAR 60-11-102, roles of the advanced practice nurse, registered nursing, final review of KAR 60-11-103, licensure and educational requirements for advanced practice registered nurses.
Second. Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay, those are approved. And then we're going to move on to unfinished business. The PMP committee report.
Yeah, Madam Chair, we don't actually have that. However, the good news is we did submit a name to the Board of Pharmacy to be the representative from KSBN, and I believe they meet in July. So hopefully that will be approved, and that is Tracy Clark. So if that gets approved, then hopefully in September we would have a report coming back.
Okay.
So we do have that.
Okay, for that update, and then, the certified nurse midwife independent regulations.
Yeah, I asked the Board of Healing Arts, for an update, what was going on with these, and there's still two that are out there that have not been approved by both boards, one of them being 100-28B-8. And that actually, she kind of, I'll just kind of read. It was sent to that council on March 31st of 2022. Took it to our June 22nd board meeting regarding the proposed AG edits. Our board rejected it, so it needs further revision. On April 6th of 2023, it went to the council for further review and input. And then November of 23, the revision was taken to that council, but there was not quorum. So in other words, that one's not coming back to us anytime soon, probably. And it's pretty much the same thing for 100-28B-9. So those are the only two out of, I think maybe there were like 15 or something, that still have not been approved by both boards.
Okay. And I just have a quick question. We still haven't found any follow-up midwives to sit.
We have not. I got the names from the Board of Healing Arts. There were 9 that are licensed as CNMIs through them. Interestingly, all of their license over there will expire on September 30th of 2024. I did email all of them and ask them if they would be interested in representing KSBN on that. And I've heard nothing back from any of them. Because probably they're not. So I don't know if they're planning on renewing their license through there since, we have full practice authority here. So if you have any other ideas, but that was what you directed me to do last time. So there were 9 and I tried.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So I'm not
Just
sure.
wanted to follow.
That's probably affecting their quorum on this
The last-
CNMI council.
The last
So if we can
regulations.
come up with 4,
We've got 2. I mean, Jamie and Kara said that they would
okay,
continue,
that's probably still doesn't.
but they're not CNMIs. They don't
I
have
think,
to be
I think
CNMIs.
what it requires is that they're licensed CNM through us. Yeah. So I don't know that that means that they have to be licensed through them as a CNMI. That sound right?
Yeah, and
Okay,
if I can look at your list later, I can tell you who's more amenable to personal contact.
let me find my little list while you're talking. I'll find it.
Because the Board of Healing Arts website, when you try to look up licensees, you have to not select the category of licensee. And that's the only way you can find people.
Yeah, that's why I emailed them and said, give me the names.
Because I just threw some names in there a while ago and I found 4.
Well, I have it in here someplace, so keep looking, keep going. I'll find it.
Okay, well, we took care of number 3 when I asked that question.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got those out of the way. And then, so number 4 on unfinished business is the statutes of approval process for draft revisions to KR 60-17-101, 60-17-102, 60-17-103, 60-17-104, 60-17-105, 106, 107, 108, and 109. So were those left over from March?
Sorry, I'm trying to catch up.
Then they move forward today to approve.
Yes, yes, that's correct.
I read through them, and I think that's what we said.
Because the ones that you wanted to work on today were the ones in red
Red.
Right.
for
Okay.
the nurse anesthetists.
So these were worked on that in March.
In
So
March,
we got-
okay.
We have put just a little dent in that list.
Okay. All right, and you did receive my email.
I did.
Okay.
I have it in this stack also, yes.
All right. I have it. Send it again. All right, so then those. And then the, so is there anything specific I need to do with the,
That's what I'm looking
the 101 through 109?
Yeah, that we did in March. Do
That
we
we
have
did in
to,
March.
do we have to vote on those or just keep carrying forward on the work?
Oh, I'm sorry. Those are actually going through the approval process. They have been through the Department of Administration. I had to make just, I would say, non-substantial changes, just kind of language, but nothing that changed it, or I would have brought it back. And they're sitting at the AG's office right now. That's the
Okay.
next step of the approval.
Okay,
So next when we meet, we can have an approval completed count on the agenda then, will we at least get started with some of this?
I have no idea how long they can actually
Oh,
sit.
wow. Okay.
Well, these are the ones that you made revisions on. The other ones
Oh, I
that
thought
you're
these are the ones
reviewing,
we worked on. That's in March to say if they were needed to be revoked or not.
those are the ones that were in the consent agenda item. That's the ones that you just reviewed, the 60-11-101, 60-11-102. The other ones down here under under unfinished business, those are the graduate education ones that we were making changes. Yeah, those are the ones that you guys, we changed as far as the curriculum, the number of clinical hours.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that one,
I didn't
those.
realize there's that many of them.
They're all going through because we needed to make some changes on them for the Department of Education's renewal thing. So that's what those are.
okay.
That clarified that.
Sorry, I'm caught up. Yeah.
All right, I'll put those up. Okay, and then number 5, the new regulation review process to be completed by March 2025. 0 of 20 completed. Oh, we just did 3, is that
You
true?
just did 3. Yes, you just did 3. So
Okay, so 3 of 20 completed. And then how many review for approval? Was that the ones that we have pending?
okay, the ones that you would have just approved, the ones on the consent item, because that's the second time that you're seeing, that's the second time you're seeing those. So then if you work on the ones in red today,
Okay.
you will see those remarks coming back in September.
Okay,
And then that just leaves this schedule for review, these down here. So if you get those in red done today, that's gonna get a bunch. And those are the ones that you gave me the feedback on, Madam Chair.
okay. So bottom of the agenda here. And then review for final comments is what I have left. But did we already do that because it was on the consent agenda?
Yes,
Okay, so this next review for final comments is done. And then now we're on to review for initial comments.
yes,
Okay,
that's the
and
one.
there's some after this. So let's start with KAR 60-11-106.
Do you want your feedback?
I have my
Okay.
feedback.
Okay,
And Becky and I were talking, so I think I must have missed.
Was 106?
Yeah, we're gonna start with 106, which is. Yeah. we scroll in here. Oh my gosh, 6, which is what page? $22. Everybody have the same? And it's the review of the functions of the advanced practice registered nurse, by the nurse anesthetist. And, so the draft is, the necessity. I said yes, is there any objections to that? But it's still necessary and does the rule and regulation service and the public purpose state of law.
It addresses the function and perform, yeah, we
Yes.
need that.
Yeah, we need that.
It
so-
defines the functions that may be performed, it's for practice.
Yes, I agree.
So,
Any question? Absolutely.
Okay, so when I looked at the statute mentions that they have to be in an interdependent role as a member of the physician or dentist directed healthcare team. So with full practice authority, did that change?
Not
Did
for
not
the
change for the
CRNAs.
CRNAs.
Okay.
No.
Where are they at in that process? You guys know that, they have to do a lot of work to take theirs across the street too. Do you know how they're doing?
Well, it's been over there for at least 2 years now. I believe last year it caught enough traction to get through the Senate, or at least out of the Senate committee. It did not even be heard in the health committee and the House. It's not even heard, so, but I don't think it went to the full Senate.
I don't believe so.
Yeah,
either.
it made out of the health
think it's
committee
some
on the
traction.
Senate side, but
Did get some traction.
a little bit, yeah, a little bit of traction, more than the year before.
And the second question.
Yes, go ahead.
They're referred to as RNAs in a lot of the language here and not CRNAs. And now that certification is required under something else, should that be updated?
It would probably require a statute change.
Okay.
I
I just wondered if we had anything.
Well, I think when you actually look at some of their statutes, some of the language is a little outdated, but there was some discussion about that, and it was thought, once they were successful over there, that would take place, that would take care of some of that, cleaning it up. So it's how many different times that you want to take something over there about the same thing, because I believe the idea was to support the one bill, and that hopefully would clean up some of the language out there. Because you'll see when you go through this, that instead of talking about licensure, it talks about authorization to practice or something. That's old terminology, but again, that probably would be changed if they get that passed over there.
I was saying, I thought that was the thinking, that we would, just as long as it was the base, and then we would update it.
Yeah.
Thought they had better chance last
Yeah.
year, last session anyways. That was the thinking.
Yeah.
So, yes, you are correct.
Other than- Well, nurse midwives are the same way.
Right, you're right.
Certified
Right.
nurse
So we're
midwives.
proving that we need it, but it needs to be revised.
Right.
I thought all of us, I kind of noticed the CRNAs did that too. We're not revising today. We're telling them across the street, we need this and we can't revoke it. Yes, we need to work on it a lot. But don't take away this function, don't, that, we can't take away that function regulation, just spell it out, because if it's missing, then we have to go write it all over again and go through it. So that's kind of to be careful when we look at the CRNAs. They provide wonderful feedback, but I know we need.
So, yes. Yes, and we definitely don't want to hinder any practice.
This one is, it is necessary, and
Yes.
it's got a purpose, and then you describe the reason. Did you have it already, something written down? that
For-
Carol's gonna-
For me, I put defines, guidelines are CRNA, defines the CRNA role. Mine was very actually short and sweet for this one. Anybody have any more?
I thought this was
words?
APRN.
RNAs.
Are we doing 60-11-106?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the
that's
role of nurse anesthetist. Because remember for APRN, there's 4 roles.
Is underneath that?
Yes, and then that's a subgroup. Yes. So yes, but yes, it defines their role and what they do, and mine was very short. I didn't know if anybody had any other words, or if you felt, Carol, that they needed more wordsmithing. If that sounds, okay, so we'll go, any other discussion? Before we move on? Anybody on line? Brent, did you have any questions? Kamaya? Kamayetta? Kenyatta, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Did you have any questions or concerns?
Not currently.
All right, perfect. Okay, so then we will move on to the next one, KR 6013-102. Okay, and this is the fees for the registered nurse anesthetist.
101 is who's?
Oh, I'm going by the, I'm sorry.
I think
this one.
102, I think there was a typo, yeah.
I'm confused too. about
101 and 102, there's a little mix up here.
What am I missing? I was just going by the list on the
I
agenda.
know.
Is that not right?
Well, 60-13-102 in, on page 27 is approval process. Article 13 is the fees, however, the actual name of the regulation is approval procedure. That's
Okay.
on page 27 in your packet.
Yes, sorry.
Does that help?
Yes, approval procedure.
And I just wanted to tell you in here, I did include in some of these, I did receive some feedback from CRNA on some of this. So you'll see like on page 32 in your packet, this is feedback from that person. And again, I believe what this person was trying to say is they needed to be updated.
Right.
But they were not really talking about, yeah. And it's true, some of this stuff does need to be updated.
So keep those notes for that process. when it happens.
Yeah.
They do, the dates are
Because-
really old, everything's really old, so they were valuable pieces of feedback. When that process, when that's assigned to be done to update these regulations.
Yeah, because you can't change, like this one, doctorate degree. Okay, well, that's fine, but you can't change the regulation if the statute says something different.
Okay,
So that's what the deal is.
This is gonna be necessary, just
yes,
because we need
necessary.
this outline, the approval process needs to be outlined, so we have competence.
Yeah, it defines clear guidelines for, and
Yeah.
I put CRA, which we RNA, Development of Educational Program.
Yeah.
That's how I know that. And set up the process for new and discontinuing the CRA programs, including those needed to be submitted to the KSB.
Right.
So, that's, yeah, so we definitely need to keep it, it's a necessity. To define those guidelines. Anybody else have anything else? And then, so we need to reach out to this person who said about updating Carol to clarification?
I can, I believe I gave that feedback to her, but
Already,
I
okay,
can do it again.
no, if it's already done, I just,
But it's, what she's saying is true, it does
Yes.
need to be
They
updated.
marked, in number 2, they marked it, yes, when being revoked, and we're not throwing it out.
Yeah,
we're not throwing it out.
And fixing it, so she marked the revocation.
Yeah.
He or she, whoever it was, so.
we just want to make sure that we, addressed it and that they just know that. What
Okay,
our reasoning,
I'll reach
rationale as
out
to
to
why we're
her.
doing it. That's the main thing, not that we're not listening, just that, the rationale going forward. Okay, so then KAR 60, oh, sorry, did anybody have any questions on 60-13-102? Okay, all right, so 60-13-103, which is school approval requirements. Says the same thing, about fees on the top.
Yeah.
Sorry, and made that mistake again this time. So for me, I said yes. And it reviews and the documentation need to be kept by KSBN with review every 5 years for the RNA programs, including on-site visits if the I said CRNA, but RNA program is believed to be in violation. Just making those guidelines aware that they could be had a visit and people know they're aware what their programs need to do. Any other questions? Added verbiage. I didn't see this. Nobody wanted to revoke this one, did they? I didn't think so. I didn't see it on this one. I missed it with the other ones, but I didn't see it this time. Okay, so KR 60-13-104, which is page. It's exam, yeah. Which is page. 43. Exam approval. And I was a yes on this approval for exams for RNAs to ensure healthcare information is covered in schooling and up to date with current healthcare guidelines and practices. Anybody
You want
else
them competent.
competent to practice in the state of Kansas?
That's
For
current
public.
language, that's current appropriate language.
Yes, current appropriate language. Okay, any others? Points that we should include? Okay. All right, we're gonna head on to KR 60-13-110. Should be
Page 48.
48. Thank you. Okay, and this is a reinstatement of inactive or lapsed authorization. Again, has that language that hopefully will be updated with the new bill once that gets across the finish line. But definitely needed, if somebody would like to practice again in the state of Kansas, knowing what they need to do for that, for sure. Clear guidance for reinstatement. So if you have somebody who's returning to the anesthetist field, have the opportunity to care, especially in a workforce crisis. Keep them competent.
The 30 hours is nothing needed. You need to make them do something.
Current and up to date. Anything else we should be adding? Questions, concerns? Okay. All right. Moving along, KR 60-13-111.
It's on page 57.
57 percent of meetings are going to do this. Obviously, I don't know it. Okay, it's continuing education definitions, which is very needed to ensure that we are educating and keeping people, RNAs up to date. incompetent as they practice with changing healthcare.
I keep thinking public safety, and everything, all of them.
All of them are public safety. Okay, any other words we should include to make our case stronger?
Maybe important to, well, I don't know, you all can say, but isn't there wording in our mission statement about protecting the public and protecting Kansas? So that we could add that because it adds weight to.
I found the same thing, Kia, all of these are for clear protecting the public by these regulations. Focus on it.
Sounds good to me.
These are those email days I have to read. They're gonna get tired of reading the same sentence every day. But you know, it's true.
It's
That's
true.
Very much
Yeah.
true. Okay. Okay, so the next one is 60-13-111. License renewal.
112,
just one time.
112, yeah, I'm sorry, I was
page 62.
62, thank you. Page 62, license renewal, 60-13-112 license renewal. We want to make sure people are licensed to practice in the state of Kansas. So, guidelines on renewal, timing, educational hours needed, has it all there for the RNAs. Again, what they need to do, how many hours needed to protect public.
Yeah, for sure. It outlines the criteria needed for competency.
Okay, any other words that you think we need? Absolutely right. It's an ongoing theme. Yes, okay, so we'll move on to 60-13-113. Approval of registered nurse anesthetist, continuing education.
That's on page 67.
67. Again, definitely needed, we want to keep this. So we'll make sure they're getting appropriate education for their renewing of their licensure. Safety. Food safety and competency. Anything else?
It supports another regulation too.
I see that.
The 60-9-107. I'm gonna do that for sure. Anything else? Any other comments? Or, so I wrote down a few notes. Carol,
Okay.
and then we'll just pull all those together
Mhm.
pretty much and send them on.
Yeah, if you just give them to us, we can put them together and then they'll be in the consent agenda for September.
Okay, that sounds perfect. Okay. For initial comments, and then now we're on to schedule for review. APRN all four roles. 60-11, 113, 116, 118, 120, 121. So are we gonna review, so now we just make the decision to review these in September, or for September? Is everybody? Does that sound about right to everybody to review those for September?
Which ones? I'm sorry.
Oh, KAR 60-11 113, 116, 118, 120, and 121. Then we have B, which is the nurse practitioner 60-11-104 and 104A. That's listed. Is everybody okay for September for that? Okay. And then for the nurse midwife, we have KAR 60-11-105. And then 104A again. And then for the clinical nurse specialist, KAR 60-11-107. All for September. Does that sound doable? And then we'll just make clear that we're not changing anything. We're just ensuring that these are all still needed. They need to go forward. And yes, we are aware of language that needs to be updated at some point. Okay, so we'll put that on for our September meeting. And then we're on to new business. 5-year statute regulations review. KSA 60-1152, qualifications for authorization to practice as a registered nurse anesthetist.
That's on page 117. And for these 5-year statute, all you do is just basically, are you approving them the way that they are? And again, this one is one that could use some updating, but again, I believe if the bill passes, because it talks in here about master's level degree, well, most of them are doctorate now. So, just a few things like that. Some of the terminology, language is probably a little bit. Provide authorization. Basically, they're getting a license from us, but doesn't mean if you approve it today that it cannot be changed once the bill goes through.
Okay. I feel very comfortable with that. Is there any objections?
We have to change it.
You're right, just do it all at one time.
Yeah.
Hopefully across the street we'll get that done.
Long wait for them.
Yes, it is. Okay. I need to make a motion.
Just requiring that it's needed. So just saying that it's a needed.
But this is the, rotating every 5 year, we look at so many.
Yeah, this is a statute versus what you were looking at before was a regulation. The regulation review is this new process that they did like a couple of years ago. And that's where you have to go through the revoking and everything. Where the statute, you do not have to do that. You're just saying that, yes, we approve. We've reviewed it and reviewed it. Yeah.
And if there was no thoughts of a new bill or changing those types of things, then we would look at updating language, but since we know there's something in the works, we're just gonna do it all at once. Yes, just all at once. Not doing double the work. So do I have a motion to approve KSA 60-1152 for a 5-year review?
This is 60. Yeah, okay, and then 65. I
move to approve, let's say, 651152 qualifications for authorization practices, registers, and anesthetists.
Brittany, have a second? Okay, great. Thank you. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. All opposed? No opposition? Perfect. Thank you. All right. And then committee description from the KSBN articles.
So it's on page 118, down to the bottom, section 4 talks about the APRN committee, and it's just, each committee is looking at their description in our articles and see if there's any changes that should be made. This also does include the Nurse Midwives Council over at Omaha.
It seemed like it covered all of the advanced parameters that we have. Anybody else have any recommendations with new eyes set on this? If there's anything that we're missing or we're looking at?
And until there's a statutory change, we have to keep the nurse midwife council because it's required at this point in time, even though it's kind of,
Yes.
you know,
It's in the bill.
Question. Thank you
Yeah.
for asking. I was wondering that too. Well, I think basically overall, that is the purpose that is in this, that's our agenda items, that's our conversation,
Yes.
I mean, the membership. The purpose.
So do we meet these requirements right now, or are we still waiting on the K card?
Oh, I thought we had it.
Or did we?
We sent the name to
Oh, you did.
Board of Pharmacy, but they have to approve it.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. Okay.
It's just kind of their process. I mean, I don't think there's gonna be an issue, but
Okay, so that was the. That was it, correct, Carol? That's the only person we were missing?
yeah, except for this Nurse Midwives Council. I mean,
Oh,
if we
except
can
for-
come up with
except for
some
the
more,
whole
because
council.
we're supposed to have 4,
Yeah, the whole council.
yeah, that are certified nurse midwives licensed through us and then appointed from the Board of Nursing. So they have to be 4 that are licensed with us. I mean, it kind of makes sense that some of them would be licensed as a CMI, but
Okay, so is there any, I mean, we've done the appropriate, like reaching out and all of that, and Kelly's gonna help us, hopefully, maybe, a little nudge, nudge. Is there anything else that we're required to do, other than just notifying the public that we're trying?
yeah, because we'll just, once we come up with some names and stuff, we can give those to the Board of Healing Arts, and then they pretty well take it from there, because they're the ones who call the meetings and everything. We don't really have anything to do with it, other than appointing them. And then once they get regulations through them, their approved regulations have to come over here and for us to approve them. And then they go back and they start them through the whole state approval process.
Okay. All right, just want to make sure we're doing our
I
due
think-
diligence.
I think if we can come up with 4, we'll be okay.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you for all your help. Any other questions, concerns? Ms. Prince? No, okay. All right, okay, do we need a motion to
To approve the committee,
committee description? Okay.
yeah. I think
Need a
that's
motion
probably a good idea.
move to approve the committee description from KSBN articles.
I move to approve the KSBN articles pertaining to the APRN committee as written.
Second? A second, thank you, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so, the agenda for the September 2024 committee meeting would be the scheduled reviews that we mentioned earlier, as well as any updates from the council, hopefully. And, an update from the K-Trax person should hopefully be happening as well. And then hopefully we'll be getting some statutes of approvals back from the AG's office and hopefully put those on the consent item agenda. Correct, Carol?
Well, those would not go on the consent item agenda, the ones that are number 4. Once they get done with the AG, then we have to do the 60-day public hearing and
Oh,
all of
okay.
that, because that's a different thing than
That's
these
different,
other ones.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, okay.
I know, it's kind of confusing. We've got several things going on at the same
I was
time.
like, so what else should be on the agenda?
You'll have the APRN programs approved for licensure,
Okay,
and probably you'll have those ones that you worked on today.
the nurse anesthetist.
Yeah, you'll hear those back for final approval from out
Final
here,
approval.
and then the September ones. I think that's it right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Am I forgetting or anything else? Okay.
Okay, I think-
And is there any objection to adjournment? Any additional business that I have forgotten? Okay, thank you, everybody, for attending. Appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. And we are adjourned.